Hello and welcome to the You Can Do It show. I am your host, Pascal Rehm, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what this show is really about. See, this show is meant to inspire and motivate others to follow their career dreams, to become whatever they want, whether it is an actor, an artist, a dancer, a musician. I will be interviewing multiple people to show what it is like. It's not easy, but once you get there, it's a lot of fun. I will be asking them questions to sort of tell you how they got there. Our first guest, though, is an honor. His name is Putansu, and I met him through MPI, a film school, and I've always admired him. He is truly an inspiration to me. Hello, and welcome to the You Can Do It show. Today we have here Putansu. He is a Michigan actor, but he currently lives in LA and is doing a fantastic job over there. I am your host, Pascal Rehm, and today we have Rob. So, Rob, how old were you exactly when you originally became an actor?
Well, when I became an actor, was actually 55. So I didn't start until August of 2009. But I had wanted to be an actor since I was in my teen years, and I took my first job in a movie theater at the age of 15 because I loved movies, I loved watching actors, and I wanted to be able to be up on that screen and do what those actors were doing.
All right, good. So, in this change, who would you say was your biggest supporter?
Well, you know, that changed throughout time because it did take a while. I got diverted in life early when I right out of high school when the theater that I had worked at was actually closed, and I wanted to reopen it because I wanted to bring movies there and have people enjoy movies like I enjoyed movies. So at that particular time, the biggest supporter for me were my parents, my father in particular, who was in the course of changing his career from being a tool and die maker to being a owner of a lumber yard that also did repair work. And so he went through his changes as I got into business and kind of drifted from actual acting because the business actually, the movie theater business actually took off and lasted for 11 years. And that's how I got delayed in my acting, even though I had wanted to be an actor so early in life.
Wow. All right. So, everyone has someone they look up to or they use for inspiration of what to do with their life. So, who would you say was your role model?
Well, for acting, so I've got several. For acting, I remember two things that stand out as if they were yesterday. One was Al Pacino in Serpico. Just an amazing performance, and I couldn't help but to watch that movie over and over. The other one was Dustin Hoffman in Midnight Cowboy. When that first came out, I was working in the movie theater, and I was so taken in by his performance of Ratso Rizzo. And I so believed that he was that character. And it was so entertaining and so, it just felt like I was in a whole nother world when he took me. I so believed that he was that character. And Jon Voight did a great job. But Dustin Hoffman is the one that really cemented my wanting to be an actor and looking up to as a role model. So Al Pacino and Dustin Hoffman, not too shabby there.
All right. And I'm sure our audience would be interested in what your day is like and what you do in your free time besides acting.
Well, currently, like you had mentioned, I live in Los Angeles. I have a tiny one-room apartment that doesn't have a kitchen, just a room and a bathroom. And my daily activity consists of this. I get up in the morning and the first thing I do is make coffee. I'm a coffee drinker and I love coffee. The second thing is I fire up my computer because I have to get caught up on all the latest acting things that are going on. I also do a ton of self-submissions so that I can submit myself to the various roles that are available in Los Angeles. I then go on social media for a while to catch up on whatever may be happening. I have yoga classes on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. I have acting classes on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday evenings. In between those commitments and that, I do a lot of exercising as far as walking, aerobic type exercises at the gym. And I love watching certain series on Netflix. Breaking Bad, Orange is the New Black, House of Cards. I just absolutely love watching Kevin Spacey and how strong his acting is from just standing still on the screen and yet just exuding that power when he delivers his lines. So I get caught up in that. The other thing that would fill my time would be reading plays. I think reading plays, you have to be in a different mindset because of how they're written. And so I try to read at least one play a week so that I can stay in that rhythm of reading plays. So basically, now that I'm a full-time actor, everything I do basically revolves around acting, including the yoga, which is actually titled Yoga for Actors. She's an actor herself, and she incorporates acting into the yoga poses and things that we do.
All right, good. So, one thing I like asking people because their answers are honestly sometimes really interesting. I previously asked you who your role model was. Now, you said Al Pacino and Dustin
Dustin
Hoffman.
Hoffman.
What would you ask them if you could ever meet them?
I just met Dustin Hoffman a few weeks ago. I work catering work in LA in between acting gigs. And lo and behold, there he was. I was holding a big tray of cupcakes. And we're told not to fraternize with the stars. So unfortunately, I couldn't say anything. But what I was thinking, if I was able to get him somewhere where I could talk to him, would be, what did he do to prepare for that role in Ratso Rizzo, that role for Midnight Cowboy? Because I was so enthralled, I was so taken in, I believed so strongly that that's who it was, that he really, portrayed that character in such a believable way. I wanted to know, how did you go about preparing for that? What were the steps? Because it was magic. It was absolute magic on the screen. That's what I would have asked him.
So, let's say from Dustin Hoffman or Al Pacino, maybe someone else, what's your favorite quote?
Well, I tell you, my favorite quote comes actually from my grandfather Boyd, who passed away quite a number of years ago. But he was my only grandfather that I ever knew. And he had in his basement a little bar, and he owned a bar to make a living. So he took a little nip now and then. And one of my greatest memories, and it stuck with me, was going down in the basement to the bar, and he had a little nip of whiskey, and he would try to lecture me. He did lecture me on life and what to expect. It was in my teen years. And I'll never forget, he turned to me and said, if there's one thing I can tell you that you should remember, it's this. If a man works hard, he's going to make it. And I thought to myself at the time, yeah, yeah. But as my life played out, it was like, it was so true. No matter what you're doing, what direction you have your passion for, if you work hard, you're going to make it. And so that really still to this day is my favorite quote.
You know, it's funny that you say that because this is exactly the kind of quote we are looking for. Exactly what we need right now. Um, the only other thing I can think of at the moment would be what was the turning point for
Well,
you?
you know, there were several turning points. Like I said, I had wanted to be an actor since, very early in my teens. It bubbled inside of me, but I didn't know what to do with it. Um, I accidentally got into a very successful business. Then afterwards, I went out to LA to try acting because, again, that was my original passion. This was the early 80s. And I failed miserably because I didn't plan. You can work hard, but if you're working hard at sporadic things instead of a plan, it doesn't come together. So my first attempt at acting in the early 80s, 83, 84, 85, was a failure because I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a set of goals. I didn't have an outline of what to do, what needed to be done. I was willing to do the work and work hard, but I went about it in patchwork type work that just didn't ever come together. So I came back to Michigan and still had this passion, didn't know what to do with it. I got a job at an airline of all things. I'd never worked in airline, which just goes to show you can really do anything you want to do or maybe are forced to do, you can learn. And after I had been there for a few years and I realized that this acting passion was not going away, I decided what I would do is I would work as much as I could, save as much as I could, and I started taking acting classes in August of '09. And from there, my teachers taught me about goals, setting them, accomplishing them, changing them, and moving forward in your life. So that probably is the biggest turning point in my life, was going to the Michigan Actors Studio, having the owners, Rich Goteri and Rachel Bellick, take me under their wing and help me accomplish the goals that I had always wanted. They taught me to don't ask, how am I going to do this? Just get out there and do it, because you can sit here for 10 years asking yourself, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? And you'll be there 10 years from that day still asking. The thing is to make your goals, make your outline of what you want to do, and step by step get out there and accomplish those goals. So that was probably my biggest turning point. If it wasn't for Rachel Bellick and her class, Blueprint for Success, that taught me how not to ask how, but to simply do, I would probably be still here in Michigan. But because of that class and teaching me a new way of thinking, it caused me to move to Los Angeles and accomplish the goals that I've always wanted to do, which was be an actor. And now that's all I have. Plan A, actor, that's it.
Good, good. Goals are always very important.
Yes.
And speaking of which, is there any advice you would give a teen, such as myself perhaps, on pursuing their career?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm so glad you asked me that. I want you to know that I was so excited when you asked me to be your guest, because I've admired your work for a number of years, from when I first met you, and I've watched you grow over the years. And I think that the thing to tell people your age or at any age is to have yourself a plan for what's in your heart. You have to go for what's in your heart. Everyone is going to be a little bit different in what they want to do. Some may want to be an actor. Some may want to be famous. Some may want to be an electrician. Some may want to be a plumber. Whatever it is that you want to do, whatever your passion is that makes you love life, make a plan to live that life. And that plan has got to include goals. Little goals, big goals, goals that you want to do in 30 days, 60 days, 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years. Have that goal list And as you accomplish the goals, check them off, continue forward, but you've got to have an outline for your passion. That's how you accomplish it.
All right. Thank you. That is all for now. Thank you so much for joining us at this show. And remember, everyone, you can do it. This was your host, Pascal Rehm, and our guest, Rob Putansu.
Son, I think it's great that you want to help out a friend.
Dad, it's not
Wait,
just
let me finish my sentence. Look at me. Your mother and I want what's best for you and for you to think about your future.
At the end of the summer, I want to be able to say that I earned this.
Okay. Just don't tell your mother that I went along with this. What's the criteria? Where does one draw the line? What if that fear is grounded in reality? Does it cease to be illogical? Does it gain meaning? Purpose? Where does this leave me? Reaching this knowledge is the purpose of all human reasoning. It's how we attempt to explain the world in which we exist. We rationalize. We try to create order out of chaos. But we're only manipulating those things that appear to our senses, not things in themselves.
Oh, look at the time. God's coming on in 33 minutes. You watching, ain't ya? Oh, what am I saying? Of course you watching. Where's that head of yours? Yeah, of course you watching. Yeah.
So yeah, I think a tip to teens that want to get involved in the film industry is really be careful of the people or research the people that you want to mentor.